Hi traders, it's Mike Hamilton on the 10th of October and just about to do my usual weekly review, so please join me. Dollar index on the weekly first. See this lovely distribution pattern in the play zone of the fibs, and we're just coming down here, so it looks as if we are heading down for 75, but at the moment we are very extended from the 8 EMA. I just think it's a potential little stopping bar anyway. I just think we need something of a pullback here for us to before this can resume its move to the downside. So I would look to see if this can come back to, let me think, at least the top of this bar here, 70, just under 79. But I just think it's very, very extended. The 8 EMA is miles away, and so looking for that to retrace. What does that mean for the rest of the market? You can see on the S&P 500 futures daily chart here, this 127 extension just held. Every time it pulled back to there, it held on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Closed, keeps closing higher. We look as if we're going to definitely head for 1170 basically on the 150 extension. This is the weekly, very bullish. So a pullback to something like 1153, 1154 will be great for this to move up to at least 1170 and possibly even 1179. Jobs data on Friday was weak, but the market was still bought. Now, whether or not when the market digests this data they might think again. If so, we need to see a close below this 8 EMA for this to pull right back down to here and perhaps retest this area here. But on the face of it, you know, a pullback to 1153, which is down here. A lot of support down here at 1153 will be a good opportunity if it can hold to move to the upside. Gold, a little pullback to the 8 EMA, but of course that was bought, as most of the pullbacks to the 8 EMA have been. No entry here if you're not in gold. You're going to have to stand and watch if you're not in this. Little topping tail on the weekly, quite a gap to the 8 EMA, so if the dollar is going to pull back, might see a retest of this 1285, which would be on the daily, would be right down here. So we could see this fall back to 1285 and that would still be remaining the bull run, but because of this is a shooting star here with high RSI, but obviously we close right up here, it could be, but it's not unusual for this to take a couple of days to work out. All a question of whether we can hold this 8 EMA, but on the face of it, no entries. Oil's an interesting chart. Fell off heavily the day after inventories, which showed a big build up in reserves. We still very bullish though. We closed above the 8 EMA, above the 200. The 8 EMA has come across. But if you look at this daily, we are looking something like a double top drop here. It's slightly shy of the top here, but certainly no real signs of it giving up at the moment. Far from it. It looks as if it could break up here and break up through the 84.50. Excuse me. But looks as if on the weekly charts we did close above the 50 EMA. We opened below, closed above it. Closed above this bar here, above this resistance. So it looks to me as if oil could pull back, possibly again to the 200 EMA, but resume its uptrend and aim to get up here to 94 on the weekly. Quick look at one particular stock I've been looking at this weekend. Been teaching this weekend. We did a scan on oil stocks and this one came up. This is NBR, N for Norman, B for Bertie, R for Robert. Want to see if this can close above 19, and if we can get above where the 200 EMA is, so in which case it will break through the trend line, break through the 200 EMA, and I would try and get pulled back to 19 for a move up to 22.19. If that's the case, the wiki will look very good as well. I like these higher lows, like this trend line resistance here. If we can break up here, I would definitely want NBR. Not a lot setting up on the currencies. I do like this Euro Aussie dollar though. No trade here at the moment. I want to see if this can break below these moving averages here or hold and do an open and close above it. So just watching the Euro Aussie dollar. I just think on this Euro Aussie dollar, I just think this needs a pullback. A couple of hesitant bars here, some distance between the current price and the 8 EMA. I know we've got the 50 just about coming through the 200. A little bit of a hesitant bar on the weekly here with the 8 EMA just coming through. But I just think, you know, the gap here between the current price and the 8 on the weekly and the current price here on the daily on the weekly, and having come off 140, I just think this is overdue a pullback. Bear in mind we're just looking for a pullback in the dollar index. I think if this closes below 138, which will be this bar here on the weekly and this bar here on the daily on the 8, I think it could come down to possibly as much as 135. But looking very extended to me, and seeing as we're just bouncing off a big round number, I think that could break down. So quickly look at the pound. This is looking stronger. RSI is quite high, but look at it, had a hesitant bar last week, but towards the end of the week it started to get going. Nice finish on Friday, so a pullback on the weekly to something like 158.70 area, and yeah, perhaps just 158.90 area, and we're going to possibly see a pull through 160. But if you're not in that on a swing trade basis, there's no trade there, because this is very extended. Well, it's not very extended, but it's got high RSI, so you certainly don't want to start taking a swing trade up here. The swing trade entry was down here, but for day traders, then a pullback to something like 159 to 60 points below where we are could be a good entry. I am still short this pound CAD. Not taking much heat at the moment, but just watching this to see if I am going to get stopped out. We did open and close above the 50 EMA on the daily, so not looking great from that point of view. However, on the weekly, it's just very hesitant. But it did close above the 80 EMA on the weekly, but it's still very nicely under the 50 EMA, and only just about closed above the open of the previous week. So it's very much in limbo. I think there was an entry. Sorry, this is from my course today. Take this off. I think that's the entry marked on Thursday night. Stop would have been a couple of points above the bar. Had you taken that, you'll be in some profit now. It's still holding the stop. But look at that hesitant bar in the weekly. So I think this short is definitely on. For confirmation, I need to close below 86.89, and looking for this to come down possibly as low as 85.69 on the euro pound. So I like the euro pound. You've missed the swing trade entry because the swing trade entry was Friday, but any sort of pullback to 87.50 area will be a good place to get short if you wanted to participate in that. Hope that helps, and email with any questions, and look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks, bye.